Hey guys, it's Rich with your Monday Spot on the Pagan Perspective. This week we're talking about frequency of practice. This week's question comes from Amanda, who writes, how often do people practice? What do you think about neopagans who believe without practice? Is it still a spiritual path? Okay, so a little clarification is needed on this for me is, what do you mean by practice? Do you mean as in a witchy type of practice? Because not all pagans are witches. So do I think that is a legit spiritual path? If you are practicing as a pagan without being a witch, absolutely. I think that's totally a, sorry about that, I'm getting a text message. I think that's totally a legit spiritual path. Now, if you're talking about worship and reverence of deity, do I think that is a legit spiritual path if you're not necessarily practicing in that sense? Yes, I think that you still have those beliefs, you still have them there, even if you're not going to deity at regular intervals and paying respects or talking to them or doing any sort of working with them. I think, yes, that's still a spiritual path. You just might be a little bit more stunted in your spiritual aspects, your spiritual growth that can be expanded on. And I don't think there's anything wrong with noticing that you need to have more attention brought to your spiritual practice. If it's in communion with deity or spirits or whatever you choose to work with. As far as how often do I practice or how often do people practice in general, it's going to vastly vary from person to person. There are people out there that practice with deity or with spell work every single day of the week. There are people that do it once a week. There are people that do it once every couple weeks, or whenever the solstices, equinoxes, and espets, whenever those come around, they may only go into that sacred circle or that sacred place at that moment. So it really depends on person to person. Now, as far as me and my spiritual practice, I don't always go to deity in a formal way. A lot of times I spend a lot of time in my head. I will sit there and think and wonder about deity and philosophize and kind of talk with them in my own mind, but I don't actually end up doing any type of ritual. Now, that is something that I would like to rectify in the future, because I have in the past noticed and even said in previous videos of mine of me not doing what I need to do, kind of being stunted in my spiritual practice and kind of just needing to fight through that and, remove the blockages. So that is something that I would like to do more in the future, is start removing those blockages and make a regular time whenever I am with spirit, with as you guys know, Christ and Sophia are my patron deities. So I would like to go into a spiritual point and actually be in that moment at that time, that type of thing. Even if it's not a full-blown ritual where you're doing a casting of circle, calling quarters, and all that stuff. To me, you don't necessarily always need that. You just need that quiet moment with deity. So for me, I know that I need to start doing that. It's something that I've actually recognized in myself. What do I think about people that neopagans who believe without practice? Okay. That's on them, and if they would like to go deeper in their spiritual aspects, then that's on them. If they believe in something but they don't actually go any further into communing with deity in the way that I would, That's on them. I cannot tell them how they have to or do not have to do their practice. Do I think it's a spiritual path? Absolutely. I don't think that negates being a spiritual path for me. Now, as far as witching, if you are a witch and, how often do I practice my witchcraft? I'd say probably every couple weeks. It's not really a regular thing for me to do all the time. Now, I would like to make it more of a regular thing. It might be every couple weeks doing a little energy work here and there. Maybe not actually doing a full ritual. Again, not casting quarters or casting a circle or anything like that. It might just be, mix a little energy in with this. Maybe, like today, I woke up and my elbow was feeling weird, so I took a crystal and I went over my elbow with it, and it actually feels a lot better right now since I've done that. So, stuff like that is, to me, considered being witchy. Now, as far as people that don't witch, and I have done a video in the past on my personal channel on witches who don't witch, and it's okay. Sometimes you just need that time. I know I have, and I know that I probably will again in the future need that time where, I just need to step back for a little bit and not do any witchy practices. Maybe just step back and say, okay, I need to take a second. I need to just kind of assess out what's happening here. I need to ground myself, and I need to be centered in what I'm doing here, and then once I figure out everything that's going on, then go forward. Some people need that break. Some people need a long break. Some people need a short break. It all depends on the person to person and what the break is needed because of. So yeah, that's pretty much my answer on that one. And is it still a spiritual path if you don't witch in neopaganism? Absolutely, yes. Yeah. Pretty darn. Yeah. Anyway, I think that's all that I have for this week until, August. May you have love, hugs, and ladybugs. Bye-bye.